The eagle has landed. I repeat, the eagle has landed.
I'm sad that he's not like doing well, but like whatever.
I don't care how good the lore is. The crazier, the better. I love lore. They're all basically Deadpool.
And they had a night where they cuddled each other naked.
Are you the dumbest person to ever live? Probably. Hello fellow book nerds, this is Gabby and today I am welcoming you to the reading vlog for House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. My gosh, what a journey we have taken to be here. It is the 30th of February, the day this book came out. I got the special Waterstones edition, which I'm shocked that it got here on time. What? I was seriously concerned because I actually pre-ordered this so long ago that I forgot I did. Then I tried to pre-order it again, but they were like, this one's sold out. I was like, oh no, let me order it on Amazon. Bam, I get an email that this has been sent to me, so I had to cancel my Amazon hold. I'm moving 2 days from now, so tomorrow we're cleaning the house, the day after I'm moving, and then day after that we're going to Poland. And somehow in the midst of that, I'm gonna experience the final book in the Crescent City series. If you don't know, book 1 is House of Earth and Blood, book 2 is House of Sky and Breath, and book 3 is House of Flame and Shadow. And I've got vlogs for first 2 books, spoiler filled, so like go off. If you need a reminder what's happened, I'm actually gonna rewatch my vlogs because I have no clue what happened. I remember the ending. I'm very curious if we're gonna pick up right back up, like what's happening. Like I'm kind of like, should I abandon every single plan I had for today and read this? And you know what, probably. So yeah, welcome to the vlog. There will be spoilers. We will be discussing all the plot points, all the dramatic bits. We're gonna talk about why this is a special edition. If I get to the extra bonus chapter, if that's what they're giving me, I honestly 100% forgotten. It doesn't look like a special edition, but we'll see. How many pages is this book? Try not to spoil myself. That is a high order. Okay, 833 pages. If you don't know House of Sky and Blood Crescent City series, it's basically Zootopia, but make it spicy, sexy, and fantasy. So we follow Bryce, who is half fae, half human, as she lives in this metropolitan city full of different magical creatures, and her best friend is murdered, and she tries to figure out what the hell happened. There's a hot, smutty, brooding angel person, and a lot happens since then. If you're down for spoilers, welcome. If you're not down, I'll see you later. And let's talk about this series. Okay, we're in spoiler territory now. So like, what am I expecting? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna see Riss, we're gonna see Feyre. We're in a different world at the end of House of Sky and Breath. Yeah, House of Sky and Breath. Before I meant House of Earth and blah, blah, blah. Whatever, Crescent City. At the end of last book, we finished with Bryce falling through portals and ending up in A Court of Thorns and Roses world. I have read all of A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I have read all but the finale of Throne of Glass. I have read it a long time ago, so I don't remember necessarily everything. So I am a bit like worried, because what if there's so much stuff I'm meant to be remembering and I'm not? But we're gonna do a little bit of due diligence, a little bit of studying. If I forget shit, I'm just gonna Google it or something. But I am so beyond excited. This book is gonna be a moment. As always with Sarah J. Maas, at least you know everyone will be talking about this. I will have a look at my videos, see if I had any predictions, and we can discuss those. But I'll probably see you tomorrow where we start this book. I clean my whole house, I pack my whole house. On first day we have like a 7 a.m. start, so that's gonna be fun. But I took a whole day off so we can spend the rest of the day reading. Wish me luck. Let's go on this journey together. I am so excited. Okay, I just rewatched my vlog, which means I'm ready to start A House of Flame and Shadow. Okay, I am 56 pages in, so just made it to chapter 4. So far I'm quite into it actually. It's quite engaging because, you know, obviously exciting things happen. Yes, we've met Rysand, Amren, Azrael and Nesta so far, so that's exciting. Quite like the scenes with them actually, because I like that it's like, can they trust each other? Like, obviously we know that they can trust each other because they're all like good and whatnot, but like they don't know that. Bryce hasn't read ACOTAR, you know, maybe it's fanfic in the world, but I do enjoy having all these things connect to each other and be same thing and their different names and different worlds. I think it is pretty interesting. I like that, you know, Bryce speaks this like old tongue that only Amren and Rysand know, but like Azrael doesn't speak, and they have different words like for things being made and for the Asteri and all of that. We just learned that the horn is something made. I don't actually remember what that means exactly in ACOTAR, but I think normally it's like things for the cauldron that I made. I don't even know. But I really enjoy having Amaran be so old, like kind of come into play, and her have more of a role to play. Hopefully, I do hope that it's not. I don't know. I'm into my. I know that. So in fairness, I know I just rewatched my review of on my vlog what reading the previous book 2, and I said I don't like this whole Sarah J. Maas multiverse. But you know, we're doing it, so I feel like let's like do it well. And I don't know, I'm just really worried that it'll just be like first couple chapters and then they're just gonna disappear and it's like not gonna matter. Like I really want this to matter. Like if we're gonna like so fundamentally shift our perception, right, of the world and whatever, then let's make it matter. So I just hope, I'm like, I want, you know, Bryce to like integrate into their group and like really get to know everyone and all of them to like work a solution out together. But the tricky part there is then that means she can't be in the main storyline. So I feel like having, because the book has so many POVs, like to be fair, right now we just followed Thorin, who's like the mayor, and then we followed Ethan, who's the werewolf, and Sigrid. Well, in his POV, we got like a little bit of Sigrid and the other werewolves. Sigrid is the werewolf alpha. Her name's Fender, and wasn't Danica Fender? I think they might be related in some way. I don't know. It's very complicated. So many damn characters. I wish there was like a little family tree or something. It's also confusing. And Sigrid was the one being kept in a tank by an astronomer, and they let her out and all that. So I do kind of enjoy like having those perspectives, because in previous book I feel like I felt like there were way too many perspectives, and that might still be true, but at least in this one Bryce is in like another world doing something completely separate, so it makes it more worth it having all of these chapters, all of these perspectives to know what's happening in Midgard, because if we didn't know what was happening in Midgard, it would kind of be like, what are we doing then? Like, this book is about Midgard, you know? But yeah, I hope Bryce like spends some meaningful chunk of the book there, or at least the characters come over or something. Like you do want it to matter, and not just like some Deus ex machina where they come in the final battle or whatever. Like I hope it's more than that. The danger there, of course, is you don't want to keep Bryce away from Midgard for the entire book, because then you don't get her in hand and like all of that. So it's a tricky balance. So I don't know. We'll see if Sarah J. Maas strikes it. Like I said, I'm 50 pages in, so I barely scratched the surface of this 800-page book. It does read really quickly because the font is huge. And I love the art in here. And I'm like, is that meant to be Bryce? It looks kind of like the person from the first, but the nails make me feel like, you know what this screams to me? Viper Kit Queen. Like if I had heard all the names in the book, and had to say who this is, I would say that's the Viper Queen. Oh, that also happened with Foreign, where he's with Viper Queen now, and he's addicted to her venom, which is like super addicting. And her like opening her wrists and like giving him a taste kind of reminded me of vampires, you know, like where their blood is like super compelling, so they like really want to drink it, and people get addicted and want to drink it. That kind of reminded me of that. Would be appropriate because we're always talking about shifters. What says shifters more than this room, really? So there you go. The universe does not want me reading this book. I don't know if it could have happened at a busier time, this release. I also got a cold now. I don't know if you can hear that. This video will come out when it comes out. I can't I'm stressing about that right now, so you know what, if you're here, I appreciate you. So I made it to page 191, this far into it. I've got a couple of tabs and I want to chat to you about. I haven't read yesterday, but you know what, I'm actually really enjoying it. I will say the book is going by pretty quickly, and I feel like I'm having really good rhythm with reading it, and when I am reading, I'm shocked like how fast it's going. It's just picking it up. I don't like, it's not that I don't want to, I want to, I don't have time. So hopefully now that we are settled, this beautiful room is my brother's room. He doesn't live here anymore, but so we can use this as our beautiful backdrop. Like there's this massive ass tiger with the bluest eyes you've ever seen, but you can't see them. Okay, so page 191, what happened so far? Okay, so let's first talk about Bryce. So Bryce is just walking along with Nesta and Azriel for quite a bit of this book, but they are down in the tunnels that lead to the prison. We know that now, and they're walking around. They're seeing all of these paintings, which is of this queen called Selene, which I for a while was like, ooh, Selena, although she's known as Aelin, but you know, maybe I'm just trying to find, you know, Throne of Glass comparisons, but that didn't quite happen. I think this is some other. I am now at the stage where Bryce heard from Selena or Celine, and she's like, the Daggerland used to be our lords and lord over us, like they do Midgard, but now but we got rid of them, and we find out that Selene is Fea's, Fea is that mythical queen who left the Fey world or the ACOTAR world initially and went to Midgard or whatever it's called. I'm like 90% sure that maybe I'll learn this on the next page. I think that Bryce, Ron, and Rysand are all like descended from that line, from Selene's line. That's why Ron looks so much like Rhys and all that kind of stuff. I wrote this. I kind of want Azriel and Bryce. That's how weak the ship is. Also, he can fulfill the proper prophecy. So there's the prophecy where the sword and the dagger will connect, and that's how, what is it? When knife and sword are reunited, so shall our people be. I'm shipping Azriel with Bryce. Don't blame me, okay? If I'm giving nothing, like, I don't care about Hunt. I'm sad that he's not, like, doing well, but, like, whatever. Like, too bad for him that he has to be there in that room where Baxton bites off Ron's hand. That was pretty grim. At the same time, maybe Bryce should get herself a new man. I am such a hater. We'll see how that goes, but I was like, I feel sparks flying. I am delusional. That is I. But yeah, there's interesting that there's a worm, which we think that the same worm as Feyre killed in her, like,
first book. Now there was another one which Nesta killed, which I did read, A Court of Frost and Star, no, A Court of Silver Flames. I think that's the one, Nesta's book. I read it. Why was I still shocked when she put on that mask and became that death demon thing? I was like, huh? I honestly remember nothing about that book. I enjoyed it too. But we're just walking around, discovering things. It's pretty enjoyable to read, I won't lie to you. I quite like their whole dynamic. Her and like Bryce, Nesta, they're all like, they're just like walking around. I wish we had like some Rysand and some like Feyre. Isn't Feyre meant to be the most important one? I'm curious to see where this is going with the whole like them being the descendants, what that means, and like I wonder where we're gonna get. I do like this like, can we trust them? Can we not trust them? Like dynamic. There's really on the other two plot points. Hunt, Baxian, and Rune are all like stuck in the dungeons being tortured. Linda the Hyde is trying to, also the Hind might be the most stupid evil nickname I've ever heard in my life, but okay. She's gonna try to break them out. They're trying to break out themselves. Then we have like another plot point where we follow Ethan and Farion and their friends, and they're all in the Viper Queen's employ. And I just got to the point where Ethan will have to fight with Sigrid. If you hear how congested I am, I'm just so annoyed. I wanted this video to be full of energy and all of that, but like, why would you release book in February? We're all just like shells of ourselves after the ordeal that was January. So why not do this in like April when everything's rainbow and sunshine, you know?
Okay, I read the following chapter, chapter 19, so that pretty much explains everything, so no need for the conjecture. But yes, I'm now made it to chapter 20. So essentially we found out that Feia, who's that famed queen, was like a slave of the Asteri in the Fey world, but she got rid of them with this king at the time. Then she got power hungry, essentially betrayed the king, killed him, took all the power for herself, and then she had 2 daughters. So I'm kind of right there that Rhys is going to be probably a descendant of one daughter and Bryce of the other daughter. So they're like faraway cousins, I guess, and which is funny to think about. And she wanted a world for her daughter, and she essentially went to Midgard, which is like Bryce's world, and started conquering that. So the queen that we thought was like so good is not good, and Bryce is having a little crisis about being descended from conquerors and colonizers. So yeah, that is a bit grim, but yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, I'm enjoying all this Fae lore stuff. Like I legit, like I'm the type of person, like I started watching Transformers Last King, Knight, whatever the hell, the one with Knights of the Round Table, and the lore just seemed so bonkers. I spent like an hour watching YouTube videos telling me Transformers lore. So like I don't care how good the lore is, the crazier the better. I love lore, so I feel like I'm getting lore, so I'm enjoying it.
New Fae entered the world, which were shapeshifters. And obviously, I know there's shapeshifters in Throne of Glass. I don't remember if they're technically Fae, but I think so. Because they're like, there's, Lysandra, is it? And she can shapeshift. And I think more people can shapeshift. I don't know. Okay, I'll find out, I guess. But interesting. 2 types of Fae. I feel like there's just so much stuff going on. My brain's like exploding. I'm like, what does that? How is it different? What? Did Ethan just kill Sigrid? What the fuck? Also, their healing powers are kind of insane. Like, couldn't they just survive anything? If they can literally regrow limbs, they're basically Deadpool. And that's just kind of crazy. Bryce is actually pissing me off because how the goal to call someone selfish and make such a big deal how selfish they are, and then be exactly the same level of maybe not the exactly same level of selfish, but selfish as well. So she was like, oh my god, like Fia and all these other Fae, they're so selfish, they went to this other world and like nothing's ever good enough, blah blah blah. And now my girly, not only is she like, well, I don't care that I'm gonna bring evil to this world. my world, my boyfriend is in trouble. So what do I care about all these other people? And then also let me make a hole in the wall in the floor and find this ancient evil that's definitely a Sari. I love how that was like a reveal, and you're like, yeah, of course. And then release her. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? No, actually, are you dumb? Are you the dumbest person to ever live? Probably. Was anyone surprised when that didn't work out? I actually put the book down and I was like, time to go to bed. Because I don't have time for fools. What did you think was gonna happen? Actually, what did you think was gonna happen? She didn't even try to negotiate and like be like, I'm not gonna let you out, but like maybe I'll give you something. Try to get her talking while she's still in the prison. No, she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna let you out. And then she's like, oh, wait, she can take power and free herself? Shocker! Oh no, who could have thought? And now I'm like, great. So you just brought extreme evil to this world. You released that evil. You're actually like a menace at this point to this whole entire world. And she probably won't even give a fuck because Kant is somewhere else. So like, I'm like, you're selfish too. You don't care about other people too. Hypocrisy. And then I was shocked because I guess Secret is actually dead. Like, Ethan actually killed her. And now I guess he's gonna be an alpha. I'm really confused. But, like, I thought there was gonna be a romance when... so I thought when he, like, went for her throat, it was gonna be one of those fake outs. No, I think he actually ripped out her throat and her head physically fell off. Right? That's pretty fucked up. Bryce, girly, you're driving me crazy. What do you mean you shouldn't have killed her? Are you fucking stupid? You literally survived? Barely. You should be on your knees thanking Azrael, Nesta. You're useless. You just tried to kill her yourself with the knives. Why are you upset? Why are you acting like this? You're annoying me. I am actually kind of pissed off. All of that for what? All of that for literally what? Also, Nesta speaking truth. As usual, you're as much of a monster as they are. Bryce knew. She'd always known. Love will do that too. You were just raging about how selfish these people were. Maybe you're selfish too. Also, I told you they always do this. It's like, multiverse, tease, tease, tease. And then she didn't even meet Feyre. She barely met Rhys. She spent some time with Nesta and Azrael. Now we're out of there. Also, like, how does she not know how to open these things? I don't know. This was all like a ploy for her to get upgrade on her powers, I guess. Like, I really don't care. Like, I went from like really enjoying it to really being pissed and not liking it in like 2 chapters. So that is impressive. We'll see. I made it to part 2, the search. So when Bryce said, I won't breathe a word to them about this place, what the hell did she mean? Because I thought she meant she's not going to talk about recent world, but she just told her father without any probing. So like, does she just mean the cavern? Because it feels like the whole thing is a big deal. Because they're scared that people want to come to their world. Bryce, you're really losing some points with me. What the fuck? I feel like noticing that your father, the fabric of his grey t-shirt pulled over his chest as his shoulders tensed. That's weird. Why you notice that it's your father? Okay, the bit where they got Hunt, Rin, and Baxin out. That was some high-speed chasing, and it was really exciting. We're now on to them having trouble because Marduk is on their tail, and I'm gonna. But look at my athleisure. Also, Bryce, always supporting the athleisure, so I had to support the athleisure as well. I've read a little bit more. I think I'm now on page 378, so like 44% in apparently. And a lot has happened. Turns out Bryce meant to get lost in Autumn King's mansion and let him believe that he had her captive, and she wanted to just find out a little bit more about the Star Sword and the dagger. And here comes like my least favorite things about Sarah J. Maas books, which is the main character coming up with some out of the left field bullshit, ex deus ex machina. I've had this planned all along, but there was not a thought in my head that hinted at it because we need to surprise the audience. I really, really hate it. This is like such a minor example of it, but it's not comforting to know that the author's still doing it. I just really want this book not to end with everything is absolutely terrible, we are gonna die, it's the 11th hour, there's no solution, bam, here comes Bryce with a plan that she's had for 3 books with allies coming out of the fucking left field. We thought that she was captured, but she's planned this all along, and she's had this plan since fucking birth. Like, it just annoys me so much, and I really hope we don't do that. I really, like, I couldn't be bothered less about this whole, like, fake out with the Atom King if I didn't think this was a precursor for more, and I'm worried that it is. But you know what, for now, let's keep positive. I am liking the Hunt storyline and the Rune storyline. So they escaped. I told you, I think that it was a really good car chase. It was really nice and tense. And then Lydia turned into a deer and she jumped off a cliff and she got shot in the heart. I will say the amount, like the regeneration they're able to do in this book is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, but they're all basically Deadpool. They're literally, at this point, could they grow back from a single finger? Like, there's no limits. Like, Lydia was shot through the heart, her insides were all splat out, they had to regenerate her whole brain, her legs, and she's fine. And she's like the same person, she's got all the memories. Turns out she's got twins that she gave up for adoption, so surprise. And like, she regenerated her brain, right? So you would think all the connections, synapses, whatever makes us us. If you just had your brain completely regenerated, wouldn't you expect at least to have some like fucking amnesia? Like, I hate amnesia, so I'm glad they didn't do it. But like, huh? And it's just ridiculous. Like, Rune just grew back his whole ass hand, and the hand grew back without like tattoos. But apparently, if you lose your heart and your brain, you're still the same fucking person. You just need like a couple, like literally like a day or two. Really, it must have been like a day or two lying down. Like, it's ridiculous, and I feel like it's just taking away from any kind. I didn't sit down here planning to be angry, but I started talking, and I was like, this is ridiculous. This is not good writing, because this takes away from any kind of suspense, any kind of me caring about these people. Because what do I care that Lydia, like, I nearly cried. Maybe that's why I'm mad. I was in the car with my parents driving, I was reading the book, feeling car sick, because I really am not meant to read when I drive because I get car sick. But I was there nearly crying for Lydia, because I was like, you know what? She made all these sacrifices. I really want her to pull through. I really want her to succeed. And she's about to die. And it's really sad. And it's like that. I really love the visual of her being a deer being chased by wolves. Like, it was awesome. And then she gets fucking shot in the heart and the head, and she survives without a scratch on her. Like, what the hell? So what is the point? It's like the same thing with the I forgot, the harpy or whatever. We're like, great, harpy's dead, yes. And now they fucking apparently regenerated her? What's the point? What is the actual point? Because, so you have to find this world for the Asteri, because you can't kill the Asteri. You have to put them in this nowhere place, or you can kill it because Nesta killed it with the mask, but like, they don't have the mask or whatever. So like, okay, so you can put them in this nowhere place, which apparently the 2 swords open, or whatever. You can't kill anyone in this world. So Asteria are not even particularly durable, because everyone can be regenerated. They're all fucking Deadpool, and it's fun with Deadpool because it's self-aware. This book is not, like, it's getting ridiculous. I don't know, I feel like we started Throne of Glass with like human characters and some were fae. And then even ACOTAR, okay, they like have powers and stuff, and okay, you can kind of bring people back to life, but like there's limits. And this one is just like, oh, just cut off every limb every fucking 5 seconds and it'll just grow back. But it's ridiculous, like it's way overpowered. There's no stakes because of that. Why would I care? And then you also pull out all these plans out of left field and out of your ass, and your main character never thinks about it in their own POV. It's just such a cop-out. It's not good writing because it's a cop-out. Like anyone can do that. I can just like make you believe something, but ha ha ha, I fucking lied in my head for 5 minutes straight, and then surprise out of the whatever. I've told my piece. So yeah, Lydia's got kids. Rune is now like confused. I really like that. I really like Lydia. I like the two of them. So I'm not upset that she didn't die. I just wish they didn't make it like she was dead and now they because she's essentially dead and they brought her back to life. And now again, it's just no like there's no consistency either, because Sigrid got her head cut off, and then Ethan had to go to Jezebel. Oh, that was very interesting. He had to go to Jezebel, who used to be Bryce's boss, and she's like a witch or whatever, a sorceress. And he had to go to Jezebel and be like, to the house of Shadow and Flame. I want to go, and he was like, I want a necromancer to bring back Sigrid, right? Okay, so you need a necromancer because someone's head got cut off, fair enough. But if someone's brains is shot out of their head, surely that's same as being fucking decapitated and not having a heart. Even fucking vampires in Vampire Diaries have more consistency in terms of what's lethal and it's what's not. Because there's no rules. So yeah, Ethan wants to bring back Sigrid. Great. I don't fucking care. I think he just should become the alpha. I think that's what Jessica was getting at as well. I feel like she's got him doing all of these chores for her and like being her assistant so that he finds something about like, you should be the alpha, blah blah blah, and then he's like, he's gonna be the alpha. I don't know, that's what I predict. But turns out Jessica was a human priestess. So in Midgard, before Asteri came, apparently the humans had a super advanced civilization. I don't know if it's meant to be like our civilization, or they apparently like valued knowledge so much, and they had all of these libraries, and people like sacrificed their lives to save the books. Our civilization would never do that because we're fucking selfish as hell and don't care about knowledge or truth. So I feel like it's not our civilization, but it was like a super advanced human civilization, and the priestesses in these libraries saved the books, at least from one library called the Griffin, or like the ship was called the Griffin that transported the books. Turns out Jezebel was one of those humans, so she's actually like 15,000 years old or something. She was cursed with immortality by Aledian, or whatever his name is, one of the princes of hell, because he was like, what's in these books? Because I don't believe it's just knowledge. I feel like you wouldn't fight for that, so tell me your super weapon. And she can only start aging again once she like reveals the superpower of the books or whatever. And then because he somehow by mistake transferred some power to her, she was like a witch, now she's a sorcerer. So I really like that. It's actually really cool. It kind of brings back like how she was taking care of these books and why she cares so much about them. And she's like, I'm not gonna give up my secrets, or I'm not gonna start aging again until there's a world where these books and this knowledge is safe and respected. And I obviously that's after Asteri's gone. So I like that. I really like that plot point. I'm like, what is she doing with Ethan? I hope it died. Don't bring back Sigrid. I mean, at this point, why couldn't she just fucking grow another head? I don't know. This first light bullshit is such deus ex machina. I hate it. It's just so overpowered. There's no stakes. I don't care. Bryce probably will have her head cut off and all of her limbs, and she's just gonna like herself back together like the Twilight vampires, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't care. How do you feel about this? Because I am actually pissed. Like, why am I reading this book if there's no stakes? Like, when you think about actually well-written books, right, about fantasy book, high fantasy, like this is high fantasy, this is adult high fantasy, and we have less stakes than in freaking Throne of Glass. I mean, I don't remember, maybe people came back left, right, and center there as well. I've read the book so long ago. I actually really wanted to, like, I never read the final book, Kingdom of Ash, and I was like, I need to know what's up in case it's referenced in here, which so far I don't think it's been. And I read this like just synopsis online, and it just fucking proved to me that I did not need to read that book because it's a massive waste of time. Sounded like it was so anticlimactic, and of course, Aelin just came up with some solution out of her butthole that she's been planning for the whole time, and you don't know that. Sounds like Dorian had a really big part, and he's my favorite character though, so I wasn't mad about that. Dorian for the win. I love Dorian. I mean, I didn't actually read the book, so whoever wrote the synopsis might have been extremely prejudiced against Aelin and Rowan because they were mentioned like 3 times in the whole thing. So I was like, is this book not about them? But Dorian got a lot of screen time, so maybe it was all like rigged, whatever. I know what I was gonna tell you. I was saying that in like really good high fantasy adult books, like I'm thinking Dandelion Dynasty, so Grace of Kings, or even like Lord of the Rings, or or the realm of the elderlings, like Assassin's Apprentice, whatever. Like death matters. Like it all matters because that's how you care. Like if you're just gonna, first of all, if you're gonna kill no one from Important, ACOTAR, why would I care? If you're also gonna kill them, but you're gonna every single time without a fail bring them back to life, why would I care? And people in the comments of that synopsis said, I want to be happy. I want to know that there's a happy ending, and I just need that. And like, that's fine. And I appreciate that. And I agree there should be a happy ending. But I don't think a happy ending is only when no one got hurt, no one, or like, even if no one in the end has sacrificed, because at the end of the day, they all came back to life and they're all happy and rainbow and sunshine and all paired up. Is that really the only happy ending you can get? I feel like this is why, I mean, obviously Hunger Games, when I read it as a kid, it was like a gut punch because people weren't happy. Like, I felt like Katniss was depressed at the end. She was like, had PTSD. I was like, she's not happy. She doesn't care about her children. Reading as an adult, that's not how I feel. I feel like Hunger Games, it showed you that people die in senseless, stupid ways in wars. Like Finnick, why did he die? Was there a purpose to it? Not really. He didn't need to die, but people die in war that you love, and there's sometimes not like a reason or rhyme behind it. And that's what the Hunger Games shows you, and it shows you that when you go through all of these traumatic things, you will have trauma, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. That's what it's telling you, right? It's saying there's war, there's terrible atrocities committed, you're gonna be traumatized, but there is hope. But like, if nothing ever matters because no one ever gets hurt, then there's just like the light at the end of the tunnel doesn't feel as precious because in the end there was nothing sacrificed. So what trauma? Like, all the trauma will just eventually be taken, and people still have trauma in this book for sure. Like, I'm sure Hunt and Rand and Baxton will be all traumatized by what happened to them. But to me, it's just like, if no one ever gets hurt, if everyone always comes back, why would I care? Because in the end, whatever emotional investment I have, like in Lydia, me nearly crying because she died, she did die. Why would I be upset? She's not even worse for wear.
Also, I forgot to mention about the conflict between Hunt and Bryce. Because Hunt is like, oh, I wish I like stopped you and we never went against Starry because now all this shit happened. And Bryce is like, as sad as I am that you suffered, like, what do you mean? Like, we need to get rid of the Starry. Like, we could just live under them. He's like, what do you mean? And yeah, I think about to kind of talk about that a little bit more, but first, or maybe after, well, I'm sure we're gonna get a sex scene soon. I mean, it's been 402 pages and there hasn't been one, and that's all that book 2 was. So interesting dispersion of the sex scenes. So I'll let you know if it happens.
Another day, another like 50 whatever pages. I have made it to page 511, which is now pretty decent progress. I can see an light at the end of the tunnel. What happened? Important things. Bryce and Hunt did have sex, but not when I thought they would have sex, because they waited and just cuddled one day. But then they did have sex. They did have sex. and they like saw they were basically transported to another plane of existence. That's how good this X was. And I feel like this maybe just sets up some weird expectations. But yes, they saw stars and planets and rainbows of clouds of nebulas swirled around them, darkness cut with lightning brighter than the sun and moon held together in perfect balance, suspended in the same sky, and beneath them, far below, she could see Avalon, framing with their magic, so much magic, as if Avalon were the very source of it, as if they were the very source of all magic and light and love. So, that doesn't make it unrealistic. Anyway, so they're in Avalon now, that happened, and when they were having sex, they somehow transmitted bits of each other's magic into each other. I don't know how that's gonna go. Bryce and company are in Avalon, and they wanna explore the archives to find anything about the sword and the dagger being brought together, and they want to go to the cave of princess or whatever the hell it's called, where Rune all that time ago had his like trial or whatever, and they split into two teams. So there's team caves and team archives. Team archives is Rune, Lydia, I forget the friend's name, Flynn and Declan, and also Flynn's sister is here, and she got married to Farian because she needed to marry someone. They're really obsessed with marriage here. She needed to marry someone to like exist and walk around freely, and they wanted her to marry these like creepy mind-reading twins, and she didn't want to, so she married Farian, the mayor guy, which is a weird combo. I like her, I guess, but like, isn't this the last book? This book does not feel like a last book, and I was starting to get really concerned that I was wrong and it's not the last book, but I'm pretty sure it is. She's been spewing some facts. For example, she's been challenging Bryce, and she said like, so her name's Safia, and she's like, what will you do with the Fae once, you know, we like defeat the Asteri? What's your plans? And she's like, I believe in the Fae, and I feel like we could like take them from the darkness if they had the right Fae queen to lead them. And Bryce is like, the Fae are not my problem, I hate all of them. Overall, it was a very, very interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it. I said very, very interesting convo. Look at Safia coming in the 11th hour with the real questions, because she kept like challenging Bryce, which I feel like Bryce needs, because she's like, I don't care about Fae, but then like she's claiming all of the birthright of Fae, and then is like, I hate Fae and I don't care about them and they're like unredeemable. Well, she does the exact same shit. Like, I was really annoyed because she's like, I'm never gonna tell anyone, don't worry, like I swear on my mate's life, no one will find out about all the trove and the mask and whatever. And now my girl's literally like using the mask as a casual conversation starter at this point. Like, she just told everyone, and to me it's like, you call them whatever words for Fia and whatever because they're greedy and don't care about other people, but you also don't care about anyone but yourself and yours. So I don't know, I find it slightly hypocritic and annoying. And then Lydia and Rune basically had some time to bond because Declan and Flynn got kidnapped, and I don't know how they didn't notice, but anyway, they got kidnapped by the Autumn and King and Stag King, the two Fae kings that are misogynists. One of them being Bryce's father. They got kidnapped, and they just ambushed Bryce and the rest in the caves, and Bryce used her lightning thing or her starlight thing to like cause a cave in, but then Deck and Flynn are all on the other side of the evil kings. And anyway, Rune didn't notice that his friends just went missing for a full day. I guess he assumed they were just lazy. But now he got time to spend with Lydia, which I really like. I really like Lydia, she's great. But yeah, now they kind of like reconciled, I guess, and they had a night where they cuddled each other naked. But I really like that, actually, because I feel like with Lydia, it kind of sounds like she never really had agency over her own body, because the way she got pregnant was with some dear fertility ritual where she didn't even know the person and her dad chose the person. And obviously with Pollux, her relationship like wasn't really consensual. She was with him as a collar, but he like always like abused her and stuff. So that's really sad, because if you've never experienced intimacy, I guess she never I mean, I guess she probably had some people before the deer thing, but like proper like love or whatever till Rune. So that's beautiful, and I like that. And then Ethan is trying to raise, oh, that was weird. Ethan is trying to raise Sigrid back from the dead, but she somehow rose back but decided she didn't want to come back to life. She wanted to become a ghoul, or Reaper, I think it's called, which I have no fucking clue what that is. With the other king, or whatever his name is, Under King. I don't know why you would choose to be a Reaper versus just be alive again. I don't really get it, but whatever. Hypaxia was exiled and is no longer queen, and Hypaxia's back. Apparently she was my favorite in book 1. It's not really done anything too much to make her my favorite now, but she's now helping Ethan, and they're also coming to Avalon, and they're going to bring Sophie back to life because she had the Thunderbird super special power. I don't really get how that's different than the lightning. Is a lot going on. There's a lot happening, and we're like kind of like near. I feel like things should be wrapping up, at least not wrapping up, but like they should be building to something. And right now, I don't know.
I keep meaning to talk about Bryce and Alter and tension there, but I feel like I always forget about it, or maybe I already did. It's just interesting to see like the connection there on their perspectives on the whole thing. I now feel like I have spoken about it, but I do feel like they're not resolving it, and I get that he's traumatized and stuff, but I feel like if you find such evil, it's quite cowardly for your first instinct to be like, oh my god, I wish I'd never found the evil. I mean, it's natural for it to be so, but he feels like he really just wants to like turn a blind eye. It doesn't seem like him, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Watch me say that, and 5 seconds later they're having a domestic in front of everyone. But Bryce is so disrespectful. My god, she's like just like jumped into the river to escape the her father and stuff. And I assume she's like following the brightness of her star like she did in the other cave. But he's like, what the hell? And she's like, later, Atalar. I'm like, that, first of all, why are you calling his second name? That's your husband, supposedly. And also he's like, no, now. And then she's like, someone has to lead, and I'm not gonna let my guilt consume you. And a full-on domestic in front of other people. Are you not embarrassed? Maybe that's just me. So Hunt was just like, I'll go along with this. Like, I'll do what you want me to do, but like, I would rather just like bury my hand in sand. And she's like, it's not good enough for me for you to go along with it. And I kind of get her, I really do. And I'm very confused. Is she gonna be the first single at the end of the book, or are we just gonna resolve this somehow? I assume he's gonna have a change of heart or whatever, but like he knows the full extent of their evil, so I don't know what's gonna do it, but yeah, interesting. Oh my god, the drama last night's episode, aka me reading before bed. I got to page 569, 63rd chapter, this much into it. We have visited Hell and learned that Hunt is kind of like a creation of the Princess of Hell. I don't entirely understand it, but he was essentially made. They found like a father for him, a mother, somehow sprinkled all this magic in, and he has some of the magic of Apollyon, which is like the hellfire, which is his lightning. So we learned that was like so many books leading up to this reveal. I guess I feel fine about that. I don't really know how it's relevant. I guess he kind of learned that his father's just not relevant. Like, he wanted to stick around, but then the Asteri found him and killed him. So that's kind of harsh, but alas. And then what did we learn? Oh yes, that she separated her power into 3 places, gave 2 to her daughter, and then imbued the Star Sword. And Helena, one of her daughters, built this island and caves, etc., to store that history and get in touch with Hell. And essentially, if Bryce gets this other power of Fia, which is hidden somewhere in the island, she'll be the super all-powerful goddess, I don't know, and will be able to come
take on the Astari. So she can either do that by connecting the two knife thingies, but they don't know. The place to nowhere might like suck everyone in and they all die, or she can use the horn to let Hell in, but we're like, can we even trust Hell? They seem a little dodgy. So yeah, we can see how that goes. Bryce kind of all of a sudden, I feel, embraced her Fae heritage of her being a queen. They killed her father, they killed the other Fae king, so she's now queen of the Avalon and whatever other name of the Fae. Rune was like, I now realize that I'm gonna be the end of the male line of the Fae ruling, and he said, I give up my birthright for Bryce, and Bryce is like, I'm gonna fight for every female. I don't know where that came from because we just had a conversation a couple of chapters ago. How we're not gonna do that because she hates Fae, but now we're fighting for the Fae. So I don't know. It was like quite adventurous. And then Bryce, in another example of her not giving a crap about Hunt. Also, we've kind of learned that Hunt was created for Bryce, like specifically to power her up. That's like his purpose. And I feel like that's how he feels. Like she sees him as an accessory because she does not respect him. She doesn't respect his thoughts and feelings because the amount of times he'll be like, what are you doing? And she's like, shut the fuck up and just follow me. Like, it seems a little rude. Like, she saw that you could slit the dagger and the sword into the floor, and Hunt is like, Bryce, question mark. She's like, I'm ready. And he said, for what? Demanded, but Bryce ignored. Hunt demanded, but Bryce ignored him. And I feel like that's just the theme here. Like, he'll say something and she'll just completely ignore him and do her thing anyway. I'm like, Hun, this is meant to be your husband. Why do you have no respect for him? Why do you not have respect for anyone else but yourself? Like, she doesn't care about anyone else's thoughts, feelings, opinions, just herself. And I really don't like that. I feel like that's very common in I don't know. I feel like that's what Aelin was like, but I read these books such a long time ago. I don't know if Feyre's like that. She gives me more like maternal vibes, which I guess is appropriate because she's become a mother. But you know, I just feel like Bryce doesn't really respect anyone's opinion but hers, and like, good for you, but I don't like this. Like, I'm headstrong, and therefore I must always be right. Must always know best, and I will never take anyone's advice. I just feel like that's a little bit, you know. But anyway, I just realized that my sweater has stars on it, so isn't that just appropriate for the star-born princess with super, super, super special powers? We'll see. I really want to finish it. It's Friday, and I want to finish this before the end of the weekend so bad because I have other books to read, and I'm not reading them. And this is going, like, when I'm reading, it's going fast, but I feel like I've been reading this for weeks, which is kind of accurate. I read a bit this morning, got to page 627, so 71% into it, chapter 72. I think we're in the last part now. Yes. We made it to the ascent. I feel like not much happened. Ethan came over to Avalon. Oh yes, sorry, so Bryce put the knife and the thing. Turns out that was the way to get Fia's power, which I feel like we just learned about it. Very convenient. And you got the other piece of power also with barely an inconvenience. So it's like, oh well. But yeah, so she got the power. So now she's the all-powerful Fae warrior princess. They even make a joke that she's like the most badass, super intuitive world walker star-born princess. And I'm like, girl, yeah. And she learns all these things just like this. And they acknowledge in the book. And they also say, oh, Bryce, she has plans under plans under plans under plans and never tells us anything. So you're like aware of all the things that annoy me, but just want to do them anyway. And I gotta respect that to an extent. But yeah, so Ethan came over with Hypaxia. They learned about everything. Bryce was like, you need to make a cure for the parasite. And I thought the parasite just made them like drop and like leech their power there. Apparently the parasite just always leeches their power. So if they like didn't have the parasite, they would be way, way more powerful, which I didn't realize. But whatever, Hypaxia found the cure in like 2 pages, barely an inconvenience. I'm glad that was sorted out quick. And now Bryce traveled to the Northern Rift
to open the gates for hell to come through, and she wants to expose the fact that she killed Micah, the archangel, and it's all going on. So we'll see. I don't know. I feel like things are moving fast. Anything's barely a problem because Bryce is a OP. Like she can do anything. She'll do anything, and she can learn to do anything in like 5 seconds. And everyone else is also so super damn special and precious. Whatever. Hypaxia, like they were like, yeah, well, the scientists have made many tests on these waters for other reasons to like check, whatever pollution, blah blah. But Hypaxia now knows that there's a parasite. So in 2 hours flat, she got it done, her baby girl. And now her and Ethan are like super powered. Ethan now can like control ice as well as be a wolf. He keeps like banging on how he wants Sigrid to be the alpha and someone needs to take on Sabine, but he doesn't want to do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to tell the wolves that a Reaper should lead them. I'm sure that's going to go down great. I understand that he's on his own journey, so I'm sure we're gonna get there. But my boy is jumping through a lot of hoops not to have to do anything. Also, like Juniper and Fury came back, and they used to be Bryce's friend, and her and Juniper had some falling out. I don't even remember. But I feel like the falling out was meant to be a big deal, and now they were like, well, we've gone through a lot of shit, let's just reconcile. And Bryce and Hunt also reconciled through one conversation. Feels like everyone's just kind of gotten over their things. Like I get it, like they found that the part of the town, whatever, was bombed, and Hunt is like, fuck, that's pretty bad. And Bryce was like, I am like tempted to just stay in Avalon, which now is just like paradise because the land like grew back after the power being taken out. And she's like, oh, now I'm tempted to just stay here and keep everyone safe. So I get you, Hunt, but we still need to fight. And he's like, we do need to fight. And I'm like, okay. Like, it just feels like everything is barely an inconvenience. My girl just like running around the world, seeping all this power out. Turns out that was exactly what she meant to do. Then she found the power that was super hidden. Oh, actually, took her 2 seconds. Why are we worrying? Why couldn't the hell guy just tell her, yeah, it's in here? Because might as well. It didn't make any difference because she just found it 5 seconds flat. The book 1 in the series was just so good, and book 2 was so bad, and this is just kind of meh.
Ethan is now Prime. What? Oh my god, the Prime Wolf just came out and was like, everything Ethan said was true. So basically, Sigrid is a dirty traitor. How can you be mad at him for killing you? I don't know. Okay, whatever. So she came out and was like, Sabine was like, this is my heir apparent, and she was like mistreated and whatnot. And the Prime came out and was like, actually, no. They just killed the Prime, which I kind of saw coming, but still, Ethan's gonna have to fight for it.
This is precisely what I'm talking about. She will literally say the words, we will not go to those Fae, and then, bam, it was a lie all along. And I didn't think that in my head, because that wouldn't make sense. Whatever. Basically, she left her parents as collateral, which I did think was weird that she was taking her parents. I did think that was weird. Whatever, she left her parents as collateral with Nesta and borrowed the mask. I was hoping that Nesta would come over and help. I just think Bryce is too powerful. She's trying to annoy me. I'm glad Bryce doesn't struggle with the mask even a tiny little bit. First time she uses it, no problem taking it off, no problem using it. I don't like stakes. Stakes in stories are boring. I want the main character to have the easiest time possible and be absolutely perfect in everything they do and try for the first time. Even when we see other characters that we know are very powerful struggle, I don't want my main character going through that. I want them to succeed in everything they do right away, 100% of the time. Anyway, we had like a, oh my god, come to Jesus moment about Celestine. Almost killed her. Bryce told him not to kill her. He got rid of his own halo. He got rid of Isaiah's halo. Now we're opening the gates to hell for real. Bryce took 2 seconds to kill the harpy. I'm glad we hyped that up. I'm glad we did, because God forbid we didn't hype out an obstacle that is resolved in an actual 2-line.
on page. So that's really good. And yeah, we're hoping Gaze to help. So see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be all good because Bryce will have a plan. Interesting. The Underking came from the Fae world or the Shifter world. Is that a different world? I get confused. I think that's the ACOTAR world because Tamlin's a Shifter. I don't know. Anyway, he said he was birthed by the void, but slinked in because he used to be confined by caves and barrows. Interesting. And he said, and she, gesturing to the unusual depiction of Earth towering above him, was not a goddess but a force that governed worlds, a cauldron of life, brimming with the language of creation. Earth, they called her here, a bastardized version of her true name, Weird. We called her in the old world. Interesting. I feel like you should meet somebody with me. I guess everyone's got the same gods, and it's all the cauldron? I don't know. Ethan just turned the Underking into a statue of ice and broke him. What now? It was actually pretty sad to lose Connor again. He turned into a second light, gave some super powerful bullet to Bryce. They have so many super powerful end of life blah artifacts at this point. Is like, I think you got it, babes. I think you got it. If you don't got it, then there's a problem for sure. Don't know if Hypaxia is inclined that way, but her and Ethan are very cute together. I can't complain about that one. They're adorable. I just feel like power couple, but if she's not into men, that's fine. I'm not gonna force it, but it's pretty cute. And I love Farian and Safia. It's just cute. They're just like, they're cute. I mean, it's not even like one book, but still cute. Han just said that he's been going commando because the underwear gave him on the ship was too small for his dick. How big is it? Also, another sex scene. To be fair, only like the second one. So, I'm not complaining that badly. 100 pages left. Oh, can't believe we're nearly there. So they're looking for Lydia's kids. They're in the Asteri place, and Asteri knew about the plan. Surprise. Whatever. Yeah, but Rune and Lydia are looking for Lydia's kids, and Rune's like, she's frantic. She will get herself killed. I need to go by myself. So he shot her in the leg, and I'm like, am I meant to be bothered? How's that even slowing her down? She literally regrew a brain. She regrew a heart. I think a wild gunshot and you nowhere near anything vital, it's not gonna stop her for long. So like, no need to be concerned. Bryce, of course, knew that he would know. So she's got a plan against his plan, against her plan, so it's all fine. Okay, they killed their first Asteri, Polaris. Bryce marched the two blades, and Han sent the lightning, and it like sucked her into a void, but it did like almost suck in everyone else. So they're like, we need to be careful. And now they're back in the palace to cut off the first light. I don't entirely understand all the bits of this plan. I feel like I should have read the books closer together, but it's not my fault they took as long as they did coming out, and I'm not rereading. So I don't remember a lot of stuff, but it's entertaining. As if these characters aren't already powerful enough, they're just getting so much more powerful. Every single one of them is like 10x power without this. With this underdog situation, Rune can now heal, and like, it's kind of scary to think of a world where everyone has such unchecked power. And I know we're trying to get rid of like really powerful people in charge now. And I'm like, is making everyone else, all the main characters, basically gods, the answer? Or is it just the same problem repeated? I don't have the answers, but I do like posing the questions. Okay, Ethan made it to Bryce with the God Slayer rifle and the super magic bullet. She teleported back to the Asteri. She blew out the core, and the core imploded, so she created like another portal to be sucked into that, the portal to nowhere, I guess. And now she got sucked into the deep space too, and we're gonna find out what's up. That was pretty tense. I like that. I like that she's being drained. It's giving this thing called stakes. We talked about it before, but it just feels like, maybe there is limit to these people's power, which is kind of nice. It's inconsistent as hell, but it's nice. It's cute. Everyone kept the door open so they could come back. Honestly, I guess it wouldn't be a Sarah J. Maas book if main character didn't die and was brought back to life on the finale. So, yeah. Also, I love how Abaxi was like, I know the world is ending, but I'm gonna find that crown and wear that shit on my head. I always liked Jessica, and I knew I was right to like Jessica. I don't really understand how she can turn the curse around, but okay. This is exactly kind of like the train station scene from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. They're meeting at a cute little train station. Always gets me when they like go to the afterlife and meet the dead people that they have to leave. But Connor and Danica are here. I don't get it. They sacrificed their second life and now they're still in the afterlife. Like, I thought they gave up their life. I don't know. I don't really understand this, but whatever. Okay, apparently they're made of love, so it's fine. Fucking Jessica, man. What a badass. I love her. I can't believe all that happened. And Bryce and Hunt didn't even get their little power up after the Asteri parasite thing. Okay, so apparently Nesta and Quinlan, Bryce's mom, had a great old time together. They had coffee, cakes, and Nesta imprinted on her like a little duckling looking for a mother. And Bryce has now left the dagger, the sword, and the mask in ACOTAR universe. So I'm looking forward to that being brought forward, whatever. I feel like it's interesting Nesta is becoming like the main character of this series because normally it's Feyre, but like we not heard from the girly. Like it's kind of anticlimactic how Bryce has not met Feyre. I like saw her very briefly. Poor Feyre, man, motherhood. Apparently becomes sidelined. Oh well, sad times. What a journey, but we have finally arrived at final thoughts. So yeah, I finished House of Flame and Shadow just to learn today that actually it's not the last book in the series. It was meant to be a trilogy, but now there's going to be a fourth book. And that does make sense to me because I think in a previous vlog for book 2, I said if there's 4 houses, how come there aren't 4 books? Because there's House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, House of Many Waters, and House of Flame and Shadow. So it does make sense to me that I assume, this is all assuming, the next book will be House of Many Waters. Maybe that's why it's not House of Water and something, which to me would have made more sense. Why is it House of Many Waters when all of these are House of Flame and Shadow, House of Sky and Breath? I don't know. Maybe that's why. Same with ACOTAR, right? A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Cult of Silver Flames. There's no and it's like a companion / next
book in a series about a different couple. It all kind of makes sense, I guess. SJM, big brain or whatever. But yeah, it makes sense to me that House of Many Waters, again, I'm just assuming will be book 4, and then we're gonna learn more about Farian and I assume Ethan. I feel like those two stories are not finished, especially in SJM fashion where everyone couples up. Those are definitely not completed. But like Farian, we really left in a weird ass spot, like in the middle of a scene, so it must be about him. But anyway, I am going to read it. Am I excited? I guess they were two of my most tolerable characters in the book, Ethan and Farian, I mean, so I'm not like mad about reading from them. It's not like I hated Nesta and the Nesta's book came and I was like, huh, maybe I don't hate Nesta, or Kale's book, and which I hated Kale. He was my biggest nemesis, and then I liked him in his book, so I'm ready. But I already kind of like those two, so I'm okay with it. But actually, House of Flame and Shadow, I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I just did my compile analysis. It feels kind of fair. I feel like maybe I would even give it a 3 if I was just like going off my gut. But this year is going off of compile, although sometimes I do tweak the ratings a little bit to get what I want. But I think in the end the book was a little bit anticlimactic, although it's not the worst SJM finale. I tend not to like them anyway. I really didn't like the third ACOTAR book. I've never even made it to Kingdom of Ash, but from what I heard, I'm not sad about that. In the end, it's just a lot of conveniences and things that I feel happen too easily. To me, it's weird that we only learned about Thea's like super overpowered thing in the last book, halfway through the book, and then somehow by some chance Bryce ends up like getting all of it and succeeding. She can use the death mask that's like meant to be a really big deal in another series, but she's of course not struggling at all. Her and Hunt weren't even of full power. Like the antidote helped a lot of other people, but not them. They just took it at like post the battle and they were like, oh yeah, and there was a thunderstorm for a week. That's how powerful it was. Felt so anticlimactic and silly, really, because like, okay, so you're not even gonna empower your main characters. Like, it just felt a little goofy and annoying, because if we're gonna introduce the plot point and people trying to get the antidote to them, I feel like in the end it didn't even matter that the antidote was not stable and that is shattered, because they were just fine without it. Really, they didn't need it. And I found that slightly annoying. And then there were just a lot of things that I felt like, oh well, that was easy. As you saw me go through this journey. So overall, I feel like it was easy. No one even got hurt much. I am so annoyed with how overpowered everyone is and how their regenerative powers are insane. And now that they've taken this antidote, they're like basically gods. They're immortal. And they talked about taxing the power level. So if you have a lot of power, you can donate some to the grid to like get them back online. I'm like, how are you different than Asterion? I guess you don't eat it, but I mean, I understand that it's tax the rich, which like great, tax the rich, but it's it feels slightly different, because we just fought because someone was like leeching people's power off for their own gain. I guess this is for the gain of the society, so I'm not like 100% opposed to the solution. I'm just like curious what they come up with in the next book. I always like following books that take place after the battle is won and after the overthrowment of the government, to see what they do and how they survive and what society they build. Usually it is a little sad because you're like, oh, I thought all problems would be solved, but they're really not. But this book definitely doesn't give you like the sunshine and rainbow and everyone's happy now. It's definitely not like that. It's definitely, okay, we've overthrown this government, what now? Which I enjoy, but yeah, overall I think it was slightly anticlimactic on my part. I feel like a lot of people, I barely see anything. Like it's been now weeks since the book came out. I'm so late with this video. But I not been spoiled at all or like found anything out, and like I wasn't seeking out those spoiler tags or whatever, but at the same time I didn't block the title or anything from coming up on TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, and I still not even heard anything, so I feel like people aren't that excited. I was disappointed with the SJM multiverse crossover, considering Feyre didn't even play a role into it, but I do like how they treated like Nesta and the Cassin was there and the Azrael was there. I like that bit. I just feel like Rice and Feyre were so sidetracked. And I feel like it was Feyre's series. It wasn't Nesta's series. As much as I like Nesta, you know, so I feel like maybe there was space for more. Overall, the feeling I come out with was this took me 16 days to read that, and I literally just finished a book in 1 day or 2 days. And it was a big book. I enjoyed my time reading it, but I did get mad at some character choices, and I got really annoyed towards the end with how easy everything was. It feels like this is a finale to a chunker of a series, and to have everyone be fine, everyone not struggle and just kind of get what they wanted was slightly annoying. We got Ruin and Lydia out of it, and I liked them fine. In the end, I guess I was wrong, and Hunt was the one for Bryce, which I had theories about it from book one. I don't love their relationship. I feel like they got to a semi-healthy place in the end, but Bryce just feels so dismissive and rude, and we never acknowledged that. And I wish that, you know, we had a chat that you can't always do everything yourself, and maybe you should let other people in and tell them things and not dismiss them just because you want to do something, so you gotta do something. You want to put a knife in the floor, shut up, my mate, my husband. I want to do it, so I'm gonna do it. It just felt very like, yeah, Bryce can do whatever she wants and she will be rewarded for it every single time. And she's smarter than everyone else, so it really doesn't matter, even if it is her partner, supposedly the love of her life, that she's being rude to. I mean, I'm not like you can't talk back to your partner, that's what I'm saying. If he was rude to her, I would also be mad, but it just felt very like, okay, if my partner talked to me like that, I wouldn't be happy. But yeah, I guess she got everything she wanted in the end, so it's fine. I don't know what it is about SJM finales, which is funny. To be fair, in ACOTAR, I loved book 2. I didn't like book 1 or book 3. Here, I loved book 1. I didn't like 2 or 3. So I didn't hate this as much as I hated book 2. At least there was less sex scenes. I remember in the book 2, there's like 20 freaking thousand of them, and you're like, again? Seriously? Again? Here's only like 2 or 3, so it was at least a bit more conservative in that way. But yeah, I don't know. In the end, what did you think about Crescent City? I feel like this is a series that had so much potential in my mind. Such a creative and interesting world. Basically Zootopia, but with a lot of more intercourse. In the end, I'm not sure that it really delivered. Like I said, book 1, banger. Book 2 and 3, eh. Book 2 actually bad. Book 3 just kind of like, okay, could it be any more easy? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm talking out of my behind. Let me know. Did you like House of Flame and Shadow? I would love to hear your opinion. Please comment. Let me know. If I'm crazy, tell me I'm tripping. But thanks for being on this journey with me. I mean, there's gonna be a vlog for House of Many Waters, so if you're interested in that, please do subscribe and follow along my journey. I can't not make the video now because these are just fun vlogs that I can look back on myself, so I enjoy it. Sarah J Maas is an interesting author, and I definitely think like I don't agree with a lot of the things that her books are saying, but she does know how to deliver fun, and I feel like this time there was fun, but did we struggle? Normally we have to struggle a little more. If you don't want your darling skills, this is definitely the series for you. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you giving me your time. I don't know how long this vlog is. Very curious, sorry it was so late. If you could comment, like, and subscribe, I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!